Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Series, Mysterio. So without further ado, let's get into it, kicking things off with the accessories. Kicking things off with accessories, Mysterio comes with two little magic effects that wrap around his legs. If you want to count the fishbowl and cape as an accessory, you can, but I consider that a necessity more so than an accessory. So yeah, that's pretty much it. They just wrap around his legs like that. So with that being said, time to move on to articulation. Moving on to the articulation on this guy, and if you are familiar at all with Marvel Legends, you're going to feel right at home here. So I'm going to run this down pretty quick. Don't want to waste too much of your time. Okay, maybe just a little. But as you can see, his fishbowl head is connected to his cape, and all you do is remove it from the back. Now, I do wish that the peg hole was lowered ever so slightly, maybe down here, if that's possible. I don't know if that would mess up the ab articulation, what little he really has anyways. But I think that would help this sit on the body a little better. I also think if you were to heat this up and maybe pinch it so it leans forward a bit, I mean, I don't mind that look really, but if you were to pinch the cape with some heat, might be able to get it to sit a little better. But moving that to the side, he does have the translucent green Quentin Beck head. Now what's funny is the original release of this from the Lizard Wave, which we will do a comparison to in just a moment, had the green skull head originally, but then they changed it to kind of a milky pearlescent white, kind of suggestive color, to be honest. They changed it to that, but then with this release we get the green head again, but it's a Quentin Beck head. Now, I do wish it was painted, considering that the fishbowl, dome, whatever you want to call it, is solid white. You wouldn't be able to see it if it was painted. And the fact that it's green, it would stick out if this was transparent enough. But since that's not the case, I would have liked to have seen this painted. But whatever. So, articulation. His head will rotate all the way around, snap his neck, now he's dead. You can look up all the way. You can look down into his chest there, so that's normal, right? You can look down even more, bury his chin in his chest. He's got a little bit of tilt, and I think his head is sitting correctly, but there's just no neck sculpt. It doesn't look like it's too high. It just looks like there's not enough neck sculpted on the torso. So maybe that's what's going on. But who's going to leave this off and display this figure? I mean, really. Shoulders go out to the side pretty far. Go back down. Rotate all the way around. He's got a bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow. Gives you plenty of range. Granted, he's got these big old honking gauntlets, so you're going to be pretty limited. He's got a swivel at the wrist, as well as a hinge. I think with this release also, they could have given him some alternate hands, maybe some more magic effects, I don't know. But it would have been nice to see that. Ab crunch moves about that far forward. So he gets decent enough forward. That far back. Waist. Swivel works. Hips kick out to the side. Whatever, but he's Mysterio. He doesn't need to be doing ninja flips and stuff. Kicks forward. Bows out to the side ever so slightly, but good enough. Thigh cut. Double joint at the knee. He can almost kick his own ass, but not quite. He's got a boot swivel. And then he's got a hinge in the foot with a rocker. And, you know, he gets relatively good range out of that. You can actually move his feet pretty far forward, considering A lot of Marvel Legends don't get a lot of forward movement, so that's nice. And then he's got peg holes at the bottom of his feet. For the display stand, he does not come with, so there you go. I forgot to mention that in the Silver Centurion review, that you can use the peg holes on his feet for his little blasty blasts as well, but does not matter. It's in the past. And one of the other things I'd like to mention is that he's got a lot of nice shading throughout the checkered pattern on his body there. So, you know, if you wanted to do some part swapping, you could maybe put that skull head on here to help pin this down. Then you'd have a pretty solid Mysterio. So, at least that's what I did with the Lizard Wave release, is I used that skull head to pin the cape down like this. It's pretty close. It's not perfect, but it looks way better. But you will see that shortly, because now it's time to move on to some size comparisons. Taking a look at some size comparisons, and my apologies, the fishbowl kind of blends in with the background there, but what are you going to do? But here we have Mysterio next to, well, himself and Pizza Spidey, because it's what I got to work with right now. Next up, we got a couple other figures I've looked at from the Spider-Man Retro series. We got Electro and Green Goblin. And last but certainly not least, we got our two regulars. We got the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. So that being said, time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and I'm going to be honest here, if you have the previously released Mysterio from the Lizard Wave, you could probably afford to pass on this one. Now granted, they do a few things pretty well. I do appreciate that they tweaked the opacity on his big old fishbowl head there. They just made it straight up white this time instead of straight up see-through like the first time. And I do appreciate the shading throughout the checkered pattern on his body. And you know what, I've always been a sucker for the gold gloves and boots. But if you prefer the colors on the previous version, I think you could pass on this one, because it doesn't really do anything else that really improves the overall build, construction, whatever you want to call it, of the figure itself. They didn't lower that peg hole on his back to make the cape sit right on the figure, and it's not like the previously released version where I could hinge the head down to quote-unquote pin the cape to his chest. So that being said, I would recommend this if you really like Mysterio, or if you prefer this color scheme to the first release. But other than that, I think you can pass on this one. It's a personal preference, to be honest. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload more reviews like this one. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comments section below letting me know what you think of this figure. And remember, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.